It's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today, Jaclyn Vocell.
How many of us have a GPS? Have you ever entered in the destination address? You press go, you start driving, it tells you to go left, tells you to go right, tells you to go 2 miles, take another left and another right and a right and a left and a left. And by the time you get there, you're like, where the heck am I? And you're like, and I know, lady, there was probably a shorter route. You took me over here and over there, and I went through like 10 towns just to get to the same town I started in. That kind of made me think, what was driving me? Whose voice was I listening to? And how did I end up here at halftime asking this coach something I wasn't really passionate about? And so I started to realize that my entire life had been driven by external drivers. And so I was a perfectionist, and being a perfectionist got me from point A to point B. And when I was at point B to point C, I wanted to be affirmed by people. Point C to point D, I had fear of failure. I don't want to fail. I graduated from an Ivy League. I played Division I basketball. I need to be great. And so from A to B to C to D, I finally reached E, which you can imagine was pretty empty. I was empty because I was being driven by external drivers. The need for affirmation stemming from when my father left when I was just a little girl. No, I didn't want affirmation from him, but because he never gave it to me, I felt the need to chase it everywhere I went. Perfectionism, to hide my insecurity. I wanted to be great at every little thing I did. And when we have these external drivers that run us, sometimes we get off track. And so I asked you to think about what is driving you. Are you in the driver's seat of your life? Or are you riding the passenger seat next to insecurity, fear of failure, perfectionism, or maybe you're trying to live up to somebody else's dreams that they had for you? What or who is driving you? I needed to become the driver in my life. And so I did 4 things. The first thing I did was recognize. I had to recognize what was driving me. And once you recognize something, then you can move forward. And so I recognized that I was being driven by fear of failure. I was being driven by perfectionism. I was being driven by the need for affirmation. And so I had worked so hard to get to a place that I really didn't want to be. And so I had to recognize what was driving me. And the second thing, I had to remove that. I had to remove those things from the driver's seat in my life. And third, after you remove those things, reposition yourself. Get out of the passenger seat in your own life and get into the driver's seat. Now that doesn't mean fear won't try to creep in and ride shotgun. Doesn't mean insecurity is not sitting in the back seat. But what it means is they're not driving you. They're not your main drivers in your life. You have control. And when you are the driver in your life, you will start to see clear vision for the direction that you want to go. You'll begin driving with a purpose, your purpose. And the last part is, after you reposition yourself into your driver's seat, realign yourself. Realign yourself with your calling. Each one of us in this room has a calling over our lives. And as you drive, and as you get more experience, and as you grow, as you become like the 8 incredible women that are being honored here today, that's when you can pull your car over and say, Fear, I'm gonna need you to get out of my car because I don't have any more room for you. Okay, my mentor is gonna sit right there, thank you very much. And then you keep driving. And then you can stop again and tell insecurity in the back seat to get out because you don't have any room, because you're going to start being fearless. And so when we get back on track, we head towards our goals and our dreams and our purpose. And so I encourage you to be driven internally and not by external drivers, because we need you. We need every woman in this room to be the best woman that she can be to accomplish her goals and her dreams. And when you do get back in the driver's seat in your life, that's when you can begin to enjoy the drive of your life. Thank you.